This is Irontrader, and this is midday trading. So I'm going to take a look here at some stocks here. We're going to take a look here at DoorDash, Airbnb, PayPal, and Uber. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy, selling stock, not ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, now here we have DoorDash. Now, they came out with an announcement that are going to be going a little bit of a buying spree of about $5 billion. So we can just see how that's all going to shake out. But look at the nice run that we had all the way from that 100 area all the way up to that 215. Okay, so let's just take a look here and see what we got. Okay, let's bigger up a little bit there for you. Okay, now you can see here we fell right down. We had this nice big gap, but you notice that it went through the 50-day, went to the 100-day, but it held this key support level here very, very nicely. Now, this is what we're looking on the downside. Okay, so we're watching that 50 SMA. That's going to be key. That's at 186.52. And then we have that 184.62, which is your 21-day and your 100 SMA here now. Okay, now, again, if that's lost, we can come down to the bottom of this candle. You're looking at the 183 level. We'll look over here. We're looking at the 180 level. Then we can come down here to the bottom of this candle. We're looking at the 173.51. We can come down here. You're looking at 168.95. And then we have the big 200 SMA here at 163.79, which in the past here has held it very, very nicely. So if it does get in this area, always look to the past and then give that the benefit of the doubt because it did hold it very nicely. Now, there is a gap here, okay? So we look at the bottom here, you're looking at 180.06 here. Then we have 180.44. So you take the 180.06, okay, there's your gap, and then we look to the top of this candle here at 179. So we do have a gap. We do have a fill, so that would be good support levels. That's only if you lost the 50-day, the 100-day, and the 21-day. Now, here on the upside, well, what we're watching is obviously this 8 SMA. This is going to be very key. That's 194.62. If we can get above that, then what we're going to do is we're going to be looking to the top of this candle. Here's the gap, okay? 197.75. Okay, and then we look to the bottom of this candle right here. You're looking at 199.43. Okay, so the 8-day, that's going to be key. And then we have the gap, the fill. Then we look to yesterday's low. You're looking at that 201.05. Then we'll come up top of this candle. You're looking at 205.89. And then your retest there is at 207.23. That was your yesterday's high. Obviously, if we get above that, well, we have a nice good target up here at that 215 level. But give this time a little chance to shake out, because usually when we get these gaps and these fills, price wants to go back into the gap. Once it gets in that gap, then it wants to go to that fill level and then maybe even the retest here, okay? But you can see how nicely, yeah, it did it go below the 8-day? Absolutely. But it held this 50-day and 121-day here so far, okay? So just be a little bit patient if you're trading the old dash. Okay, let's take a look here now at Airbnb. Okay, here we have Airbnb. Now, Marriott came out today, and they said that they're lowering their guidance going forward. There's kind of a little bit slowing coming on down with the old Marriott there. But again, that doesn't mean Airbnb is. A lot of people like this is going to be travel season here. A lot of people like renting those houses instead of just a room, and it works out pretty nice for them, okay? Now, let's just take a look here at the old chart, bigger up a little bit here. Okay, so what we're watching here on the upside is going to be watching this 8-day. That's 123.86. And then we have that 50-day just right above it at 124.16. That's going to be very, very crucial, okay? Now, if we can get above that, we'll come right to the top of this candle. You're looking at 126.56, and we'll come on top of this candle, 127.59. And then your big upside target is going to be this 200-day at 129.70. So if it does rally up here, watch that 200-day. That's going to be very, very critical, okay? These look here at what happened in the past. And when it rallied up back into the 200-day, it then fell right on down, okay? Then the 21-day was holding this down, but now it looks like we're trying to move right back up again here on this whole situation. But 129.70, that's going to be very, very crucial here on a closing basis. Obviously, we can get above that. Then we just bring these price channels here right across. We're looking at the top of that candle. You're looking at 135.94. We just come right up top of here. You're looking at 140.32. And we have 140.279 and so on all the way on up here situation. See, this is what I was pointing out here about when we look into these gaps, okay? See how that gapped up and then eventually see how nice it filled everything? So that gap is already all filled, okay? So always pay attention to those gaps because once we start getting into it, it wants to fill that gap situation. Okay, now on the downside, what we really want to watch here is this level right here, okay? So you want to watch that 121.90, okay? And then next level is going to be that 120.13. And then we want to come right down here to this 21-day here, sitting at 117.73 level. Now, you can see the 21-day is starting to curl up here nicely, but we got to see how this is all going to shake out here on the Airbnb. Now, there is a gap right here, okay? So you look at the bottom of that candle, look at 116.72, and then we look to the top here, you're looking at 115.80 gap, and then your fill, okay? So if we lose this 21-day, always look to that gap and fill situation. Then we can just follow the candles down until we can come all the way down here. But really, seasonality here is in good play where this should be, I would say this is going to get moving right on up here. But the key is going to be closing above that 200-day. That's going to be key, okay? All right, let's take a look here now at PayPal. All right, here we have PayPal. Now, you can see here we're all the way down to that 50s, and what a beautiful run rate app all the way up to that 93. But you look at that 93.66 level, and then what do we have on top of this candle here, okay? 93.25. You see this? This is a double top situation, okay? So always take a look and watch these double tops, okay? Now, if you want to know about chart patterns, you go on my playlist. I got chart patterns on there, seasonality charts, candlesticks. Give you a good update on what's going on here. But always watch these chart patterns. When you see this double top, that means you want to get the hell out of that situation. Now, when we look at the earnings here, okay, so you look at the past, this one here, it gapped up. This one obviously gapped up right there. And then now we had the earnings here, but it looked like it had a nice, good upswing here on the old PayPal, okay? So what we're building here, all these charts look pretty much the same. So let's just look at the downside here. So this is what you're watching, is that 66.32 area. That is going to be your 50-day and your 8-day. But you can see the 8-day. See how now it crossed that 21-day? Now it's crossing that 50-day. As long as that price can hang above this 8-day, okay, this is looking really, really very, very bullish to go higher, okay? So if this 50-day and 8-day is lost here, then what we do is we just look to the bottom of this candle right here. You're looking at 64.85. Your next level of support is going to be right there at that 63.54. And then your 21-day is going to come in the picture at 63.32. Looking very, very nice, strong here. But this stock actually looks like it just wants to go higher. So what we'll do is we're going to watch yesterday's high. Okay, that's 69.36. Now, if you get above that situation here, we're going to bring this price channel right across here, and we're going to come right up to that 71.71 level. Okay, then we just crank her all the way on up here, 72.55. But realistically, you're looking for that 75.71. So if this can keep right on rolling and we hold that 50-day and that 8-day, this is going to be your upside target. Is going to be that 75.71 level here on the old PayPal. But remember, this is going to be very, very strong resistance because you have the 100-day and the 200-day sitting right there. Now, again, say this blast right through this, okay? Look at up here, we have this gap. So just put this on your back burner, okay? So what we have here for an upside target is 82.69. There's your gap. And then we look to the bottom of this candle at 86 flat, okay? So your gap, 82.69, and then 86 flat right there, okay? So always look at, if we can crack above that 200-day and 100-day, this gap here, this is going to be your target. And then if we start getting to that fill, that's going to be your target. Then we can just bring the price channel right across here. What you're looking at is 90.93 and possible retest of that 93.69 level. Now, you can see here how we got oversold here conditions. Now she's kind of rallying up here. But at 59, you got plenty of room to run. You're green over your red. So this is actually looking really not too bad of a chart. Okay, let's take a look here at Uber. Okay, here we have Uber. Now you can see here what we did is we put this bottom in here at that 63 level, okay? So what we're always watching was the bottom of this candle here at that 59.33, okay? So we have a double bottom situation now. Look how nice this is rallying up. So when you look at this chart here, okay, we can see I have a left shoulder, we have a hand, a right shoulder, and now she's ripping right up here nicely, okay? So what we're really watching is yesterday's high, okay? You're looking at that 86. 57 level. Now I have to be a little careful because look to the left of the chart. What do we see here? 87. Okay. So when you see that, is this going to be a double top situation? And then this comes selling off on all the way on down here, or is going to blast through? That's the key. Now, if we close above this 87, well, then you're going to be heading towards that 100 mark. Okay. That's going to be very, not instant, but over time. Now you can see how nice this, see how this 8-day crossed over all the simple moving averages. So even if this does a sideways action, as long as we hold this 8-day, we're looking very, very good here, okay? So now what we're looking for key support here is you want to watch this level right here. This is that 82.10 level. So just watch that, very, very critical, and then watch that 8-day at 81.59. Now, if that's lost, We'll come to the top of this candle here at 80.55. And then what we'll do is we just keep working ourselves all the way down. But we want to watch also this candle. This is key, 77.58. And then we want to do is watch that 21-day at 75.90. And then we start getting into the 50-day, etc. here. But as long as this 8-day is holding, even if this goes sideways, let this 8-day catch up to it. This is very, very bullish chart going on here. Now, we're getting to this oversold condition here. Now, if you look at the oversold condition here in the past, okay, this is what happens, okay? This was an overbought condition, I should say, and then we sold right on down, okay? Overbought condition, and then we sold right on down. So we're getting right to that area there. Not saying that it can't go higher, kind of a situation, but just always pay attention to that RSI. Gives you a lot of good signals, okay? Now, your green over your red, this is still looking very, very positive, but let's just see how this all shakes out. But realistically, watch that 87. You crack above that, then we're going to be heading towards that 100 mark, okay? On the downside, this 8-day has to hold 81.58. We start losing that, then we're going to start venturing all these candles down here until we hit that 21-day at 75.90, okay? So basically, this is here is a good one. I've never took an Uber myself. I got too many vehicles and Harleys and off-road vehicles, and I'm thinking, what do I need an Uber for? But anyway, a lot of people like it, but I'm saying watch that 87. Okay, this here, you crack that, and we're going to go higher. Watch that key 8-day on the downside. We crack that, we're going to go lower. Okay, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here after your pit close, and we'll take a look here at Bitcoin, crude oil, natural gas. We'll take a look at the indexes, and then we'll probably look at gold and that silver. Remember, trade what's in front of you, not what you want.